Hi, this is Dreama, and today we are doing a client reading. And as always, I know the name of the client, and they know their name, but I won't be saying it in this video. Now, I've already shuffled the cards quite a bit before I turned the camera on, and I'm just going to go ahead and cut the deck. Now, this is a two-question love reading, okay? It's one of those readings, it's kind of like what will happen if. So the client had some questions. They have a choice they need to make, and it's actually a choice between two individuals. And the questions are, what will happen if I choose person A or person B? And we're going to be using an 8-card spread. The top 4 cards will be for the first person. That's the person that the client refers to as person J. The bottom is for the next person, person 2. Okay? Now, we're going to be using the Gilded Tarot. And I'm going to go ahead and turn over the top 4 cards first. This is the first person. And we have the Chariot in reverse. And we have the 9 of Wands. The 9 of Swords. And the 8 of Pentacles. Now, I'm going to start out with the Chariot in reverse. Now, this is an interesting card because, remember, this is a future reading. So this is a what happens if reading. So I guess the question we have is, what happens if the client chooses person A, which they refer to as J, okay? Now, the Chariot, when it's turned upside down, it takes on a completely different meaning. And what I'm getting from this card is that there, if you choose person, I guess person 1 for me and J, then that could mean that there could be a lot of, quarrels and disputes and arguments and things like that that will happen between the client and this person. It's kind of a busy card, and when you turn it upside down, what it's going to give you is a very busy life, a life that's very chaotic, okay? Next, we have the 9 of Wands. Now, this is an interesting card because I'm not sure if you can see it, but the person is holding one wand, and there are several others behind them. And what I'm getting from this card, I'm not sure if you can see it, but he's holding the one, he's kind of bowed down. So what this tells me is that if you choose this person, person number 1 or person J, that it looks like this person will focus primarily on one thing. They're a one-thing kind of person, if that makes sense. This person is almost as if they're waiting, and he's pausing and holding this one wand. And what I'm getting is that this is about delay, okay? This person is waiting, and they're in delay. So if you get with this person, there could be a period of time where things just don't go anywhere. They become stagnant and they don't move, if that makes sense. The relationship will become dry and stagnant and delayed, if that makes sense. Okay. Next, we have the 9 of Swords. Now, this is interesting. I'm not sure if you can see, but it's a person. There's all these swords that are pointed towards the person. Now, what I'm getting from this card is, again, more delay. And this card is about disappointment, and it's about possibly even some sort of deception, okay, that this person will do. And I really feel that there'll be some emotional pain for the client. All these swords are coming at the person, and I really believe that this is not going to be an easy thing. There's going to be a lot of delay in the relationship. It'll become very stagnant. It will not move forward. There possibly could even be some sort of deception that will go on. Okay? And last, we have the 8 of Pentacles. Now, this is interesting. I'm not sure if you can see, but they are focusing again on one pentacle, and the other is above their head. And what I'm getting from this card basically is that this is a card about work, okay? they're concentrating on the one pentacle and working very hard on the card. So what that tells me is that this relationship would not be an easy relationship. This would be one that would take a lot of hard work. There would also be a lot of pain involved, possibly some deception, and some sort of suspension of the relationship, almost like it grows stagnant. Okay, next we're going to move to what I call person B, and the client knows who I'm referring to. This would not be J, this would be the other one. Okay, and we have the Ace of Wands, and the Hierophant, and the Five of Wands, and lastly, the King of Swords. Now, I'm going to start with the Ace of Wands. Now, this, let me say, this is a very powerful card. It's what I call a fire card. And you can probably also see there's some hands, you know, in the card. And what I'm getting from this, now remember, this is if the person chooses the second person, which I call person B. Okay. And what I'm getting from the card, it's a very powerful card. And this is almost, to me, about rebirth, okay? As you can see, the hands and the wands coming up through it. You know, this is about renewal and rebirth, okay? So what that tells me is that if you choose this person, you and that person will go through a honeymoon period, a period where you almost feel as though you're elated, you're reborn. It's actually a very good feeling and a good card, okay? Next, we have Hierophant. Now, this card is interesting because I'm not sure if you can actually see how well you can see the picture in the card, but this card is about inspiration and things like that, possibly even a marriage, because this man looks like a priest. So what I'm getting is that there possibly could be a marriage there, and actually a rebirth of both of you. So I'm actually seeing a very, very good thing. It's not at all bad, and there's a lot of goodness and things like that, because this is a very bright card, okay? Next, we have the Five of Wands. Now, as you can probably see, there are people, and they all are pointing wands at each other. So this card is a little bit different, actually, than the other two. It's not necessarily a bad card, but it is a card about, you know, problems. And it does look as though, you know, there may be some sort of competition, some sort of struggles that go on within the relationship, but I don't see that they are anywhere near as severe as what goes on with person J in the top cards, okay? Next, we have the King of Swords. Now, this is a very powerful card. I'm not sure how well you can see, but, you know, the king is very powerful. He's holding one sword. And what I'm getting from this, you know, this card is that there's going to be a lot of power in this relationship overall. Almost, you know, to the point where there's a lot of intelligence and things like that that's going on. And possibly some sort of connection. So I'm getting that there's some sort of connection between the client and this second person. And it's a very powerful connection. And I'm not saying there won't be problems. There will be. But overall, between the two, it looks like person number two actually is, there's a lot less trouble in this relationship. It goes a lot smoother. This one up here is much more rocky, much more rocky. There's all kinds of problems going on up there. Here you do have some problems, but nowhere near the extent of person J. All right, that does conclude my reading. And I would like to thank everyone for joining me. And I do hope to see you all again.